Hey guys, welcome back to another flatbed build episode. So the last video, if you missed it, I'll link it up. We got the headache rack done. We got this thing fully welded in. Got some plate on the back. Got fenders on it. Got this rear section majority of the way done until we ran into a slight issue. I was going to put another plate from this corner up to here, but that covers the mount, which covers the bottom of my frame, and that flatbed needs to lift straight up, so that is not going to work. So what I'm going to do is cut this mount off, move it forward up to here, and then I'm going to cut the frame here, and that should give us plenty of clearance to get that last piece in there. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to lop that frame off and then get the truck out of here so I got more room. And I'm actually, this whole rear is just tacked on, just a couple tacks. So I'm gonna bust those tacks off so I can actually get on the back side in here and actually cut this mount off. And hopefully I can save that because I don't have any more bolts. I guess I can go get some, but it'd be a lot easier if I can just cut it, move it forward, and weld it here. So we'll see what we can do. But for now, cut that frame, get the truck out, and pull this rear section off. There it is, like it never happened. So these things are a little short now, and I really don't want to rebuild the whole freaking mount. So I think what I'll do is just get a plate and put a plate on the bottom in between here and there, and that'll get me up enough to be able to weld it. So we'll do that. So yeah, those are good to go. I think I'll get that back section back on, and while it's upside down and easy to work on, I'll put that on and build that last plate for it, and then I can set it back on the truck and make sure everything's going to clear, as well as tack these mounts on. So I just want to say, when you guys are building your projects, don't let little setbacks like this discourage you from, keep moving forward. Yeah, it sucks. Sometimes it's not as easy as just cutting two mounts off and welding them back on, but there's been a lot of setbacks on the truck. You go through and build all this crap for it, and there's obviously things that don't work out. Like this, for instance, this is obviously not a big issue, but you can't think this far ahead where to place your mount, because the back section is going to be in the way. You have to place your mounts first, and then you have to build the whole back section, and you can't possibly think that far ahead. So I just want to say, there's many times that I could have quit on the truck. There's that whole oil system problem. I first started up and I was freaking squirting oil out of everywhere because I had way too high a pressure. There's with any project, there's things that don't work out and you have to fix them. And I just want to say, stay strong, guys. Keep your projects going. Do not give up. That is the worst thing you could ever do, is give up. So let's build this cool shit. Alright guys, I'm going to show you my cardboard magic. So I got this. I actually got to notch it just a little bit to get around this mount and around the frame still, even though I cut it. So I got that at kind of an angle, so I'm just gonna set it up here, get it where I want it, make sure everything clears. And then you'll just take your pencil and then mark the ends, and then just follow the line down. So then I got that mark there, like that and that. So I'll just get that on the ground, use my level and a razor to get a nice clean straight cut on it so that we could transfer this to the plate and have a nice straight cut. And then you throw it up there, make sure it fits where you want it. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna, you just mark this out on the sheet metal, cut it out, and you're done. So pretty simple. All right, got those tacked on. So that's about right there is about where that mount's gonna sit. So looking straight down the end of the frame, I cut right at the edge of this mount. So it should clear, but we'll have to get it on the truck and verify that. So that's looking pretty sweet. I love this triangulated plate look. And it really ties in with my front bumper because it's basically the same idea as all this. So I think this truck is really going to flow good with all this triangulated, you know, plate looking stuff. So I'm excited to get this thing done. I may do the hitch off of this frame. Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty sure it'd be plenty strong enough. I mean, this thing's pretty solid. So. And that hitch I would come through here, weld onto here, and obviously it would weld on all the framework of this flatbed. So that in itself would really stiffen up that rear end. But I don't know, I gotta figure that out. So for now I think I'm gonna weld all this and grind that. And you got to just be careful when you're welding this plate. This isn't tacked enough yet. I'm gonna go through and tack it a bunch. And then you really just want to weld like 2 inches here, come over here, weld 2 inches. If you put too much heat into one area, it's going to warp everything and it's going to look like crap. So weld a little bit there, come over here, then come up here, then go back down there, and just like you saw when I welded the framework, just go around and just spread out the heat. You don't want to concentrate on one area because that'll really warp everything up. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to weld all that in solid, grind it, and then we can put it back on the truck, get these mounts secured, and we should be good. There we go, fully welded, done. So now I just gotta grind it. Hopefully this isn't too bad. A lot of these welds turned out pretty good. A lot of my first ones were kind of screwed up because my tip in my gun was a little screwed up and it was sticking, so it would start welding like shit, and then I'd move the wand or the gun and the wire would pop out. So as soon as I switched that tip, she started welding a lot better. So like I said, I just stitched this down, just did little, you know, 2-inch strips to keep the heat out of it and keep it from warping. So looks like it stayed pretty freaking straight, so I'm stoked about that. So now I just gotta go grind all, well, not all of it. I'm gonna leave this, that corner, but all this, these 3 joints here, and that one on both sides, I'll grind all that smooth, and it should look pretty sweet. So that's the next step. All right, got that all ground out, and god damn, these look good. Nice and sharp, straight, looking really good. I just gotta touch this one up because this one had a little bit of a gap, so a lot of the weld fell, you know, into the crack, so I couldn't get a real sharp edge. So I'm just gonna fill in these little low spots in here, and we'll be good. And also, I forgot, I need to go in and weld the back side of where I cut, just to strengthen that section up. So yeah, I'm gonna fix that, get those insides welded, and then I want to get this back on the truck and make sure everything fits, get those mounts back on, make sure that's all good, and then we can finish off these fenders. All right guys, got the flatbed back on the truck with this rear end all finished up. And man, these last pieces really kind of just completed the whole rear end, and we got clearance between the frame and the back of the bed, so that's good. So I tacked my mounts on, and so that should be pretty good. I'm just gonna wait to fully weld that when I pull it back off or whatever. So I'll do that then. And the next thing I'm going to do is take a hole saw, and I'm going to drill a hole right here for a tie, basically for tie downs. I think that's going to be obviously the most simple way, and I didn't want like big D-rings because they're, you know, they're clanking around, they're big in the way. So I think this will be the cleanest way to do it, and obviously this is very, very strong, so not going to have an issue there. So I'm going to drill a 1-inch hole there and there. Alright, those are finished up. Got that one, both of them drilled in. So today is just kind of a finished little items type of day. So the next thing I think I'm going to do is, for underneath this little fender, I kind of want to do just that little angle with, you know, the same square tube, and line it up with these uprights here just to support this fender. So I'll do one there and one here, and that'll kind of flow with this support and strengthen this whole fender up, because you know, if you want to stand on it or accidentally stand on it or whatever, you don't want this thing to come flying off. So I think I'm going to cut up some little angles and tack those in place and see how it looks. I think it'll look pretty good as long as they're lined up with that. It'll kind of flow better, so let's do that. Alright, got those tacked in there. Looking pretty good. Gonna stiffen that little fender up quite a bit. So definitely it'll do the job. So next, what I got going on is I'm gonna integrate a hitch into my bed. So what I think I'm gonna do is take this, notch out the rear of this plate on the back right here, and I'm gonna stick it in at the bottom kind of flush with that, and then on the inside I'll have to build some sort of mounts that come up maybe to here, and then I might do like a, I think I have some 3/8 plate, or maybe I'll do 1/4 inch, but I might plate down from this main frame down to the receiver. But yeah, it's not I'm not hauling anything really heavy, so I don't need it extremely beefy. So I think I'll support up 2 supports up to this main bar here, and then a support up to here, and that thing should be plenty stout. Alright guys, got these cut up. So these are just gonna go right in there like that. And that should be plenty of strength. And then I'm also gonna plate along the bottom there to tie all that in really strong. So I'm gonna tack all this up in here and then figure out some sort of plate. And I need to integrate into that plate, which is gonna run kind of underneath and probably on top too, but I need to integrate some hooks for the chains too off of that. So I'll get those tacked up and figure out something with that plate, and then I want to strengthen this area too, so I may plate down here or a piece of tube or something to strengthen this rear part of it. Got this top little support figured out, so instead of plate I figured it'd probably be stronger if I just did tube. So I cut this out, fits primo right there, so that will definitely strengthen all that. And I just need to figure out a plate for the bottom to integrate those hooks, or a little loop or something to hold the chains. So I'll get this tacked on and then work around, do some figuring for that lower plate. Alright, we got this whole support, everything in. So this rear is really going to help with the load from side to side, but not so much forward and back. So I need to strengthen that axis. So basically what I think I'm going to do is, since this isn't really strong enough to gusset from, I think I'm gonna plate some more on, just, you know, run a plate up here, and then I'll put a big gusset in here, and that'll really strengthen the forward and back motion. So I think that's the plan. I got my cardboard out. I'm gonna trace out a little triangle kind of from here up, and that'll really strengthen that section. So let's get that going. Alright guys, there's my extremely overkill gusset and extra plate I put in there. So I think it's safe to say this hitch is never gonna move ever in its lifetime. Alright guys, so I built this plate to weld on the bottom here. So it's gonna sit there, and then it's got the holes for the chains. So that's fitting pretty good. So one thing I did was I wanted bigger holes for in case I have a trailer with like the big style hooks, and it was getting pretty thin on the edges, so I actually put a weld around the outside edge and I ground it down, so just to get a little more bite in there. So, and then I welded these back up after I cut it, bent it, so that's all good to go. So now I just got to get this thing off, fully weld this whole hitch in, and this thing will be freaking solid. Alright guys, got the bed back off and fully welded this hitch in. So that thing is freaking beefy. That is definitely, damn, popping tack somewhere. Crazy how a little bit of heat can break a freaking tack. That one just snapped. I just welded these little supports in there. Crazy. So yeah, anyway, hitch is done. And there's that plate on the bottom for the chain hooks. So that's all good to go. Looking killer. So that about wraps up this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We got more videos coming. Definitely more than I expected. This thing's taken longer than I thought it would take to build. And I wanted to go in depth with it. I didn't want just like a really vague one or two videos. I wanted to go in depth, show you guys exactly what I'm doing, every step of the process. So, you know, if you decide to tackle something like this, you kind of know what to expect. So, another thing I'm extremely stoked about is before I decided to do the flatbed, I asked a question on, I think on my channel here and then on Instagram, and like 99% of people said, don't do it, don't do it. And now, I haven't had a single person say they don't like it. Everyone's stoked. Everyone loves it. It's turning out really killer. So, stoked about that. So, go like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this thing. I think it's come along pretty sweet. So, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.